Live from WSLS, this is 10 News at 6, working for you.
Now at 6, growing concerns about a rise in COVID-19 cases.
We've not seen numbers like this since the end of April.
What our local experts say needs to be done to stop the spread once again.
You may have noticed some haze in the air. It's from smoke from wildfires out west. We'll let you know the source of all this and when we could get some relief. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
And we'll get to all of that in just a minute. But first, we're continuing to follow breaking news out of Liberty University. Thank you for joining us for 10 News at 6. I'm John Carlin.
And I'm Brittany McGraw. Lindsay has the night off. 12 women are suing Liberty University, claiming leaders created an unsafe campus environment and failed to address sexual violence appropriately.
10 News reporter Tim Harfman is live tonight. He's outside the university. Tim, how are leaders responding?
Well, John and Brittany, university leaders released a statement about 2 hours ago saying in part, quote, many of the claims are complete opposite of how the university's policies and procedures were designed to operate over the years. Liberty has invested mightily in programs and personnel to help maintain a safe campus and to support any and all victims of sexual assault who came forward. According to court documents, 12 women, both former students and employees, say Liberty University intentionally created an environment where sexual assaults and rapes are more likely to occur than they would if in the absence of Liberty's policies. Jack Larkin represents the women and they say LU leaders weaponize an honor code called the Liberty Way, making it difficult or impossible for them to report.
For instance, you're not permitted to drink regardless of where you are. As a result, some of the victims who were the victims of date rape drugs felt like they couldn't report that to the university because if they had, they would themselves be punished. And in some instances, people who did report to the university were punished.
One woman says she was 15 when she was sexually assaulted by Jesse Matthew Jr. while attending a summer camp in 2000. Matthew was convicted of killing a University of Virginia student and a Virginia Tech student. He is just one person identified in the alleged incidents. We have the university's full response and all of the court documents on our website, WSLS.com. Live tonight in Lynchburg, Tim Harfman, 10 News, working for you.
Well, after a stretch of COVID-19 cases going down, the numbers are once again starting to climb. 10 News reporter McKinley Strother talked with local health leaders and those forced to change plans at the last minute.
Tonight, some call it the COVID comeback.
We've not seen numbers like this since the end of April.
Others are calling it the pandemic of the unvaccinated. However, some people cannot get vaccinated, like young children.
A lot of summer camps around Virginia have suffered because of this pandemic.
Relationships!
Not just for Camp Bethel, but even this camp struggled to get things off the ground. A lot of planning went into it. Now they're reminding campers and their family members to wear masks and social distance because of fears of COVID-19, fears that canceled their latest session.
Someone had showed up going home in a van to North Carolina with the COVID.
So to be safe, the final session was canceled.
Kids need guidance, they need structure. They've really adapted very well and very quickly.
From uncertainty they could even open, struggles to fill vacant positions, to keeping COVID spread at bay, the summer is best described as
very, very hectic.
Organizers of Camp Bethel and Fincastle say they've had a successful summer. Camp Okovac says they've had one too outside of that positive case.
If people were afraid of Jesus coming as they are afraid of the COVID, it'd be a different world.
But the world we live in has COVID cases rising at alarming rates.
We need people to continue to get vaccinated.
The Roanoke City and Allegheny Health District recorded nearly 200 cases in the last week and had the highest daily infection rate in our area Tuesday. The state reported over 700 new cases.
We also need people to wear their masks if they are not vaccinated and maintain that social distancing that we've talked about for the past 18 months.
But once summer kicked in and a lot of the automatic fun just kicked back in.
I'm McKinley Strother, 10 News, working for you.
Dr. Morrow says vaccination rates have slowed as well and hospitalization rates have increased, but 98 to 99% of those people are unvaccinated. And as we get closer to the start of school, Governor Ralph Northam set to announce a mask policy for the upcoming school year. Right now, everyone inside a Virginia school needs to mask up regardless of vaccine status. That mandate ends this week. The newest CDC guidance recommends only people over the age of 2 who are unvaccinated need to mask up.
I suspect it'll be fairly much in line with the CDC guidelines. We follow the science and data. We want our children to be back in the classroom, as many as can be. We want them to be there safely.
The governor reports about 35% of eligible students have not received the vaccine. Here at home, that number is closer to 50%.
Switching over to your forecast, this is what some of us saw today. A hazy start to the morning. You can barely see anything here. Meteorologist Justin McKee is here. And Justin, this haze is actually coming from fires like this one in California.
Yeah, that's right, Brittany. Kind of amazing that the smoke can make it all the way here, but that's just how the weather works sometimes. It's all connected here across the United States, and here in Southwest and Central Virginia. We're going to have to deal with the smoke at least through Wednesday. I think behind a front on Thursday, we will maybe get a little bit of relief from that. Of course, the smoke all from the fires out west, and the northwest winds are what is really bringing it to our direction, and it's filtering out the sunshine, but it's actually given us some color at sunrise and sunset. So if you happen to get a nice photo, feel free to share it with us either via email, social media, or the pin it feature on our weather app. We have a look at the 3-degree guarantee. The forecast today, 88, the high 87, so that's another $10 going to Habitat for Humanity, Roanoke Valley. Temperatures still on the warm side, 84 in Roanoke, 83 in Danville. We're seeing the middle to upper 70s across the New River Valley right now. Temperatures down into the upper 50s or 60s overnight, depending on where you live across our corner of the Commonwealth. And then it looks like we're going to be heating up even more tomorrow, 91 for the high. And of course, the haze is going to be sticking with us, but we should get a little bit of sunshine too. We'll let you know about that front that I mentioned and what else it's going to do for our weather. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
There's continued controversy over the Franklin County Board of Supervisors' proposal to build a new volunteer fire station. At last month's meeting, leaders voted to begin receiving bids for the proposed Glade Hill Volunteer Fire Station. It would house the fire department with the county's public safety department. Today, the president of the county's Volunteer Fire Association voiced concerns.
It was originally proposed to be a station for the Glade Hill Volunteer Fire Department, and it has kind of transitioned into a station for the Franklin County Department of Public Safety, which will house a Glade Hill fire truck.
The board plans to consider the bids in August.
City of Roanoke looking at how to spend its American Rescue Plan Act funding. During a virtual town hall this afternoon, leaders talked about the hard-hit tourism industry. Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge would like to see some of that money go to help downtown, but it's a move that would help the whole community.
It's almost a cycle, helping the tourism recovery process, especially our hoteliers, will then help propel that funding back into the fund, which then gives money back to our schools.
Leaders also suggested using the money to increase wayfinding signs. And new at 6, a Roanoke County judge has ordered a Confederate statue in Salem in the old courthouse lawn to be removed. You're looking at it according to the circuit court order. Judge Charles Dorsey says the monument interferes with the administration of justice. He goes on to say either the court must be removed or the monument. The monument is now on Roanoke College property, and the college has offered to pay for its removal. However, the board must approve that move, and the court won't make any formal action until January of 2022.
2 local cities are teaming up to bridge the gap of the Roanoke River Greenway.
The newest connection making the trail even longer.
WSLS 10 News, the proud winner of 2 2021 Emmy Awards for Best Daytime Newscast and Best Evening Newscast.
Roanoke and Salem are bridging the gap on the Roanoke River Greenway. Today, the cities revealed a new bridge over Barnhart Creek that now creates 2 miles of uninterrupted trails linking Salem and Roanoke through the Greenway.
Provides alternative transportation for folks, and it opens up that connection in between the jurisdictions, so folks can use this as more than just a recreational amenity, but also a means of getting to and from work, traveling to see friends and neighbors, and going about their daily lives.
Organizers are continuing to work to expand the Greenway. They plan to add more miles to it this fall.
Helpful and healing tool to help those in law enforcement.
They see a lot of things that a lot of people don't.
How Bedford County is going beyond the badge to offer support during difficult times on the job.
And a colorful sunrise this morning thanks to the smoke that is kind of hanging over the area. We'll let you know when we could see some relief from that coming up after this break.
Working in law enforcement is one of the most stressful and dangerous jobs.
And one county is making sure those who wear the badge have the resources to cope with the trauma that comes with the job. So new at 6 tonight, 10 News reporter Courtney Lockie shows us how it works.
Rising gun violence, intense scrutiny. It's not an easy time to be in law enforcement.
When people have troubles and difficulties, they call the law enforcement, okay? Law enforcement comes out, but who does the law enforcement call?
That's where police chaplain Mike Smith comes in. He grew up in Roanoke and spent his entire life in ministry. It was about 17 years ago when the Lord called him to serve those who serve us.
You have the ability to not only minister them in here, but help them in here because they see a lot of things that a lot of people don't.
Mike volunteers his time with Bedford deputies and police on top of his 9-to-5 job and spending time with his 4 sons. He's one of 3 chaplains that ride around with those who wear the badge.
They fill a void in the life of law enforcement.
After 36 years of working his way up the ranks to sheriff, Mike Miller says he knows firsthand how important it is to have someone like Mike around.
These men and women that are out here in uniform, they do need someone to speak with and to talk to.
The spiritual element is a powerful healing tool, helping officers cope with stress, anxiety, and trauma that comes with the job.
When they go to do the things they need to do, they need to know that somebody's got their 6 that they're with.
Sheriff Miller says they're always looking for more chaplains. As for Mike, he's looking forward to the day he can do this full time. In Bedford, Courtney Lockie, 10 News, working for you.
Your local weather authority, always watching and tracking for you from the JES Weather Center.
All things considered, it would be a pretty nice weather day, but unfortunately, as we've been talking about throughout the newscast, there has been smoke and it has caused a little bit of haze in the air, and you can definitely notice that over in Blacksburg. This is our camera at Virginia Tech. Something else that is doing is actually making the air quality come down just a little bit. It's in the moderate category, so it's sensitive people that really need to pay attention to this. The vast majority of us are probably not going to notice much of a difference in the air, but you know, if you do have issues with your lungs or anything like that, make sure you're giving yourself a little extra time as you're going out and about outside. Maybe avoid doing the exercise outside. Might be a good idea for you this evening. Temperatures right now in the 80s for most of us, but we do have some 70s across the NRV, and actually Martinsville dropping down to the upper 70s now. Danville and South Boston in the low 80s. That's where Lynchburg is as well. Roanoke and Covington, our warmest spot on the map right now at 84 degrees. We got some baseball happening in Salem later on this evening. First pitch going to be at 7:05. We expect the temperature to be in the low 80s, and then at the 7th inning stretch, it'll be in the upper 70s, middle 70s by the end of the game, and I do believe we will stay completely dry, but of course that haze is going to be in the mix throughout the game this evening. Eventually overnight tonight, our lows down into the upper 50s for some of you, but I think most of us in the 60s. The low forecast for Roanoke about 65, and then we're going even hotter tomorrow. Looks like up to 91 degrees. That's a couple degrees above average, and you can see we'll have mostly sunny skies throughout the day, but of course that haze might be in the mix, and it does look like it could be kind of humid out there, but eventually we are going to see a front pass through the area that is going to help with the smoke, and it's also going to help with our dew points. So it looks like those are going to be a little bit lower as we go into Thursday and Friday. Going to feel a little bit more comfortable outside, but it does look like we are going to keep the temperatures pretty elevated through that time frame. So here's a look at weather headlines. It is going to be hazy, hot, and sunny on Wednesday. We're going to see that big little dip in the temperature, or in the humidity rather, as we go into the later stages of the week. I did drop the storm chances over the weekend, but I have increased them as we go into early next week. So 30 to 40% chances on Monday and Tuesday. That looks like the next best chance for you guys to see a little bit of rain wherever you live. So here's a look at the smoke tracker. So you can see that the orange colors indicate that it's pretty smoky in our area, and a lot of places further to the north seeing the smoke as well. But we have this front off to the northwest. As that gets closer to us, it does look like it will kind of scour out the smoke. So you can see the change in the colors as we get into Thursday morning. And then also this front is going to provide a little bit drier air. It's not going to feel quite as humid outside as we go into Thursday and Friday. So here's the forecast for the next 24 hours. 65 the low, pretty comfortable overnight tonight, partly cloudy, and then mostly sunny, but we're going to have the haze with us on Wednesday, and it is going to be hot on Wednesday, 91 the high there. Upper 80s for Thursday, but then back in the low 90s on Friday. It looks like we stay there over the weekend. You see those chances not as high as what I had in the forecast yesterday, but I did actually up those chances as we go into early next week. Monday, Tuesday, 30 to 40% chance for some storms.
For South Carolina football this fall. I get it, don't really care, you know, what the outside perception is and what the outside expectations are. I like the team that we have, and we're about, let's be the very best that we can be, and how good can we be, how good can the 2021 South Carolina football team be, and that's our goal and what we're working towards each and every day.
South Carolina's Shane Beamer up at the podium for SEC Media Days, his first as a head coach. And Gamecock fans are ready to see a turnaround in Columbia. They opened with Eastern Illinois on September 4th. News and notes, the first all-female Major League Baseball broadcast is happening tonight at 7 p.m. Orioles versus the Rays in the MLB Game of the Week on YouTube. And our former Salem Red Sox broadcaster Melanie Newman will be on the call for Baltimore. Three-time ACC champ at Virginia Tech, Devon Morgan is the newest assistant football coach at Emory and Henry. And details on a deal for Aaron Rodgers that was declined. The Packers' extension would have made him the highest paid quarterback in football, and he said no. All right, here is your Cut It Out today. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers made their way to the White House to be honored by President Biden. The oldest president ever elected joked that Tampa Bay now has the oldest coach and oldest quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Not a bad company to be in. They all seem doing pretty good with their age.
Let's
Let's
hear it for the old guys.
Yay!
Right?
Yeah,
That's
Carlin,
right.
you can relate, huh?
Well, yeah, I can. What, are you calling me old?
No. I'm calling you successful.
There you go. Just
seasoned.
There you go. Tom Brady and I, peas in a pod, right?
Yes.
There we go. Right. NBC Nightly News coming up next.
We will see you back here at 7.